It was a Sunday morning filled with excitement, tension, and just a hint of playful marital sabotage. For fans of football and reality TV alike, the weekend had delivered a spectacle. The Philadelphia Eagles, against all odds, secured a thrilling victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But while thousands of Eagles fans were celebrating in the streets and living rooms of Philadelphia, one household on the Upper East Side of Manhattan was witnessing a much more personal, and much funnier, defeat. Actor Mark Consuelos had lost a bet to his wife, television icon Kelly Ripa. The story begins innocuously enough, as all domestic wagers do, with a grin, a smirk, and the kind of overconfidence only a man who had once starred in countless daytime dramas could muster. Mark, a known Eagles supporter but with a mischievous streak, had dared to bet Kelly that the Buccaneers would outscore Philadelphia in what was being hailed as an unpredictable matchup. "It's Tampa Bay, they've got Tom Brady, for crying out loud," Mark had declared confidently on Saturday night, tossing a football-shaped stress ball across the living room in mock preparation for a win. Kelly, never one to back down, raised an eyebrow and shook her head with amusement. "You really want to do this?" she asked, her tone equal parts warning and tease. The terms of the bet were simple but merciless. If the Eagles won, Mark would spend the following week performing a series of tasks designed to cater to Kelly's whims. The specifics. They were as merciless as they were creative. Breakfast in bed every morning, posting a heartfelt, and undeniably dramatic, tribute to Kelly on his Instagram, and wearing a custom-made, Eagles fan extraordinaire, apron while cooking dinner for the family, all while reciting classic lines from the soap operas that had made him famous. Kelly, naturally, added a twist of her own, "And if you try to weasel out, I get to pick your wardrobe for the next 2 days." Sunday arrived, the sun shining bright as if it knew the Eagles were about to claim victory. Mark had been confidently checking stats, while Kelly, seated comfortably on the couch with her coffee, remained calm, exuding an air of smug patience. As the game unfolded, Mark's smugness began to falter. The Eagles, with precision and grit, were dismantling the Buccaneers' defense play by play. Each touchdown, each strategic move, seemed to chip away at Mark's bravado. Kelly, on the other hand, occasionally sipped her coffee and muttered, "I told you so," with the practiced flair of someone who knew she would emerge victorious. By the fourth quarter, the tension was palpable, not just in the stadium, but in the Consuelos Ripa household. Mark was pacing, muttering about impossible plays and flukes of physics, while Kelly remained serenely confident. Then came the final whistle. The Eagles had won. The score was decisive, and Mark's theatrical disappointment was almost worthy of an Emmy on its own. He slumped dramatically onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. You win," he admitted, voice muffled. Kelly, never one to let an opportunity slip, leaned over and whispered, "Oh, I know. And you're going to feel it." The next week became a delightful theater of domestic absurdity. Each morning, Mark, still reeling from his loss, arrived in the kitchen to prepare breakfast in bed. Pancakes were meticulously shaped into footballs, bacon strips artfully arranged to form the letters EAGLES, and coffee was brewed to perfection. Kelly's Instagram stories chronicled the spectacle, complete with playful commentary. Who knew Mark could cook and lose with style? By Tuesday, Mark's recitations of soap opera lines while flipping omelets had become a viral sensation among fans. Videos of him dramatically lamenting the Eagles' dominance over the Buccaneers, while simultaneously whisking eggs and stirring oatmeal, circulated on social media, bringing laughter to thousands. The apron, a bright green ensemble embroidered with a soaring eagle and the words, "Eagles fan extraordinaire," became Mark's trademark for the week. Dinner preparations were theatrical, with Mark pausing mid-chop to deliver lines from past television dramas, eyes wide, voice trembling, as if the culinary stakes were as high as the dramatic ones on screen. Kelly, meanwhile, alternated between sheer amusement and mock criticism. "No, Mark, you must stir with more passion. Think of the Eagles." Fans and followers couldn't get enough of the saga. Comments ranged from pure admiration for Mark's dedication to the bet, to humorous suggestions for additional tasks. One fan suggested he write a ballad to Kelly in the style of a telenovela, while another joked that the apron should become standard attire for all celebrities who lose wages to their spouses. Kelly, always gracious in her victory, posted a picture of Mark wearing the apron while dramatically holding a spatula like a sword, captioned, "When you bet against your wife and Philadelphia wins, #EaglesNation, #MarkTheChef, #Loserworth Beyond the humor and the social media buzz, the wager showcased something deeper about their relationship. The playful dynamic between Mark and Kelly revealed the joy of partnership, the fun of teasing one another, and the ability to celebrate each other even in moments of loss. It was a reminder that, sometimes, love isn't just about the grand gestures, but about laughing together at the little things, even if it's your husband dramatically lamenting a football game in a kitchen apron. By the end of the week, Mark had fully embraced his role, performing each task with theatrical dedication. But he did so with good humor, often quipping, "Next time, I'm betting on the Eagles no matter what." Kelly, of course, simply smiled knowingly, her victory sweet but never cruel. And somewhere, perhaps in the heavens of sports fandom, the Philadelphia Eagles themselves seemed to nod in approval, having inspired a week of joy, laughter, and a viral story that would live long after the scoreboard had been reset. In the end, the tale of Mark Consuelos losing a bet to Kelly Ripa was more than just a sports anecdote. It was a testament to love, humor, and the magic that happens when competition meets affection in the home of two of television's most beloved personalities. The Eagles' triumph was celebrated not just in Philadelphia, but in the hearts, and on the social media feeds, of everyone who reveled in the spectacle of a husband's good-natured defeat and a wife's gleeful victory. And while Mark may have lost a bet, he won a week of laughter, shared memories, and perhaps, in the long run, a little humility, a trade-off most would call worth every pancake, spatula, and dramatic line spoken in the service of love. By the time Sunday rolled around again, Mark was already plotting his next move. Would he finally outwit Kelly? Could the Buccaneers turn the tide? The answers were uncertain, but one thing was clear: in the Consuelos Ripa household, football was more than a game. It was a catalyst for laughter, creativity, and the kind of playful love that could turn a simple bet into a story worth sharing with the world.